Business session on April 4th, 2023 to order at 6:02 p.m. All council members are present. Welcome to our guests and visitors. We provide an opportunity for the public to address the city council on any agenda item or during the hearing of visitors portion of our agenda. On items other than hearings, speakers will be allotted one 3-minute presentation regardless of the number of agenda items the speaker wishes to address. If you're here to speak and have not filled out a registration card, please see the city secretary staff at the registration table outside of the auditorium so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation, and staff will distribute those to council. And if you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. Now, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. To consider are the minutes of the March 21st, 2023 special meeting and regular city council meeting. These minutes are in your agenda packet. Are there any corrections? If not, those minutes will stand approved as submitted. We have 3 proclamations tonight, and the first of these will be the Waco Fire Department's 150th anniversary. And if Chief Summers and any others that are here tonight would join me at the podium, please come on down. Appreciate all of you being here with us tonight. Y'all come on up here. In fact, why don't y'all just line here in front of the stage? It's a good view in here. We had a really amazing opportunity to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Waco Fire Department last night at Fire Station Number 1. I don't see her here, but thanks to Megan Davis at Parks, I think she helped, but also just our Jonathan and the entire Parks team for helping put that on. But really thanks to the fire department, because that was a really special event. It was first in class, family friendly, and really told the history of the department in a really engaging and thoughtful way. But more importantly, as I mentioned last night, thank you for the sacrifice that each of you make. Thank you for the sacrifice your family makes in time and in deed to keep our city safe. As many people know, that we are an ISO 1 rated city. That's the highest honor that a fire station can receive. It literally makes your insurance premiums go down because that's how safe our city is with a fire department like this. So it's something that we should definitely be very proud of. And with that, I'll read this proclamation. I, Dylan Meek, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Waco, do hereby proclaim April 3rd, 2023 as Waco Fire Department 150th Anniversary Day in the city of Waco, and urge all the citizens to join with the city council, city staff, somebody might have to run out of here, and me, in congratulating and celebrating on this monumental occasion. Waco Fire Department's 150th anniversary, as they remember their past and look forward to the successes of the future. As a true customer service organization, the Waco Fire Department responds to well over 20,000 calls per service year. 2022 ended with the Waco Fire Department responding to 20,674 incidents, which was a 4.2 increase over the past previous year. Calls included structure fires, vehicle fires, hazardous material situations, and other emergencies. Additionally, the department responds to non-emergency calls, which include animal rescues, lookouts, water evacuation, and many other service calls when the citizens cannot find help from other resources. The Waco Fire Department participates in the Regional Technical Rescue and Hazardous Materials Response Team agreements with surrounding counties and is part of the state interstate fire mutual aid system, assisting with statewide disasters and wildfires. There are over 200 employees who work for the Waco Fire Department. Waco has 13 and soon to be 14 fire stations within the city limits of Waco. In testimony whereof, witness my hand and the seal of the city of Waco this 3rd day of April, 2023.
As always, we can't do this without the support of our city manager's office and the city council. So again, I just want to say thank you and to the men and women of this organization. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. LaShawna Mallory Horn would join me at the podium, please. There she is. Yeah, bring the crew up here too. This public health crew up here. Hey guys. We all got to see these faces a lot during COVID. I don't get to see them as much anymore, which I'm glad that COVID's over, but miss talking to you guys so regularly. All right. With that, I, Dylan Meek, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Waco, do hereby proclaim April 3rd through April 9th, 2023 as National Public Health Week in the city of Waco, and urge all of the citizens to join with the city council, city staff, and me in observing this week by helping our families, friends, neighbors, and coworkers and leaders to better understand the value of public health and supporting great opportunities to adopt preventative lifestyle habits in light of this year's theme, centering and celebrating cultures in health. The week of April 3rd through 9th, 2023 is National Public Health Week. And the theme is centering and celebrating cultures in health. The goal is to recognize the contributions of public health in improving the health of people of the United States and achieving health equity. Since 1995, the American Public Health Association, through its sponsorship of National Public Health Week, has educated the public, policymakers, and public health professionals about issues important to improving the public's health. In 2020, the U.S. life expectancy declined by 1.5 years, which is the largest drop of life expectancy since 1943. There are significant differences in the health status of individuals living in the healthiest states and those living in the least healthy states, including differences in obesity rates, prevalence of chronic disease, and the prevalence of infectious disease. The public health professionals of the Waco-McLennan County Public Health District help our communities prevent, prepare for, and withstand and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, including disease outbreaks such as the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as measles, natural disasters, and disasters caused by human activity. Studies show that small strategic investments in disease prevention can result in significant savings in healthcare costs. Racial and ethnic minority populations in the United States continue to experience disparities in the burden of illness and death as compared to the entire population in the United States. In testimony whereof, witness my hand and the seal of the city of Waco this 4th day of April, 2023. I want to say how much I appreciate you guys and all that you do. We have a great team, so let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Mayor Meek. And on behalf of the over 90 public health professionals here in McLennan County, I want to publicly thank our city manager's office, especially City Manager Bradley Ford and Deputy City Manager Deidre Emerson for all of your support over the last 2 years since I've been here. And I want to thank the council for all of their support. This is a wonderful health district, and we're excited about all the things to come. Thank you all.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have, if Wendy Ellis from United Way would join me at the podium. And all of your team too. We appreciate y'all joining us here tonight, and with that, I will read this. I, Dylan Meek, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Waco, Texas, do hereby proclaim April 1st through April 7th, 2023, as the Week of the Young Child 2023 in the city of Waco, and urge all the citizens to join with the city council, city staff, and me in the McLennan County Child Wellbeing Movement in its efforts to make a good investment in early childhood in our community. The city of Waco, in conjunction with the United Way of Waco-McLennan County and the McLennan County Child Wellbeing Movement and the National Association for the Education of Young Children, is celebrating the Week of the Young Child, April 1st through 7th. The McLennan County Child Wellbeing Movement, a collaboration of community residents and local organizations, has developed a community action plan, which includes strategies to address the need for more high-quality early learning opportunities and stronger supports for the McLennan County families that in turn can provide a foundation of well-being for the more than 21,000 children between the ages of 0 and 5 living in McLennan County. Teachers, nonprofits, and early childhood professionals, healthcare professionals, and others who make a difference in the lives of young children in Waco and McLennan County deserve thanks and recognition. Public policies that support early learning for all of the young children are crucial to young children's futures and to the prosperity of our society. The future is great. The future of our great city depends on the quality of life we provide for our youngest residents today. And whereof, witness my hand and the seal of the city of Waco this 4th day of April, 2023.
Mayor and Council, we just wanted to say thank you very much for the recognition of the Week of the Young Child. And I don't know if you'll remember at this time last year when we were here for this proclamation, we were in the process of meeting with community groups and leaders and different organizations to put together the McLennan County Child Wellbeing Action Plan. And so in that year's time, that plan has been launched. We continue those meetings, and we have a number of different organizations across the city and the county who have taken hold of some of the strategies and objectives of that plan. They're making them their own, and they're working together to make those actions a reality. So I can't say enough about the city staff and all the different departments from Parks and Rec to Housing and Economic Development that have been involved and have been instrumental in helping move all of this forward. So we appreciate your support, and we will continue the good work. Thank you.
Next, we have the consent agenda. The following resolutions have been pulled from the consent agenda. The first is Resolution 244. Is there a motion on this item?
Move for approval. Second.
Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Horner. Holmes. Meek.
Motion carries. And next, we have Resolution 251. And whoever is making the motion will need to read from the script that is on your table.
Mayor, I will read from the script. I move that the City of Waco, by one record vote applying to all units of property to be condemned, authorize the acquisition, including the use of power of eminent domain, if such becomes necessary, to acquire A, permanent wastewater line easement of 1.505 acres, B, 4 temporary construction and access easements totaling 2.011 acres, and C, related appurtenances and facilities needed, all generally located southwest of the terminus of Preston Street, then east/northeasterly, a distance of approximately 2,050 feet, to a point approximately 260 feet southwest of the terminus of Almiron Drive, all being located in the Tomas de la Vega Grant, Abstract 43, number 43, McLennan County, Texas, and being out of 5.3 acre and 5.0 acre tracts as recorded in Volume 994, page 666, and Volume 995, page 425, respectively, of the deed records of McLennan County, Texas, and acquisitions all being for the purpose of placing, constructing, reconstructing, operating, repairing, inspecting, maintaining, rebuilding, replacing, relocating, and removing sanitary sewer pipelines and related word mentioned earlier, and facilities needed for the improvement of the municipal wastewater collection system, including the system improvements of the City of Waco in the North Extraterritorial Jurisdiction, ETJ, for the North Interceptor Sewer Line Project, and correcting the listed owner and total appraised compensation for tract number 6 on resolution number 2022-650 to Union Pacific Railroad Company and $23,386.
Nicely done. Second, is there any discussion? Please poll the council.
Fairfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Borderood.
Yes.
Horner. Holmes. Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. The next item to consider is the consent agenda, which includes resolutions 2023, 235 through 252, with the exceptions of 244 and 251. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion is second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Fairfield. Rodriguez.
Aye.
Borderood.
Yes.
Horner. Holmes. Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. The next item on the agenda is ordinance 2023-256.
253, Mayor.
I apologize, 253.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing for the extension of certain boundary limits of the City of Waco, Texas, the annexation of certain territory consisting of approximately 58.90 acres of land, more or less, situated in and being part of the BBB&C Railroad Company Survey. Abstract number 157, McLennan County, Texas, and being a part of the called 194.45 acre tract described in a deed to WBW Single Land Investment LLC, Series 104, recorded in document number 2019-028303, and being part of Warren Road of the official public records of McLennan County, Texas, and being located near the intersection of Warren Road and Ritchie Road, and further located within Waco's extraterritorial jurisdiction, which said territory lies adjacent to and adjoins the present boundary limits of the city of Waco, Texas, providing for the designation of urban residential as the comprehensive plan land use designation, and designated R1B single-family residential district zoning, assigning the annexed territory to City Council District 3, amending City of Waco Precinct 55 to include the annexed territory, directing the city precinct district map be revised to reflect that change, and providing for voting location at any of the City of Waco vote centers, providing that said territory bears pro rata part of taxes, entitling inhabitants to all rights and privileges of citizens, and binding inhabitants to acts and laws of the city, adopting a service plan, providing a severability clause, providing for publishing of ordinance, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed, open the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on March 21st, 2023.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval on second reading.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield. Rodriguez. Borderoad.
Yes.
Horner. Holmes. Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. Next, we have ordinance 2023-254.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing for the extension of certain boundary limits of the City of Waco, Texas, and the annexation of certain territory consisting of approximately 19.14 acres of land, more or less, the 19.14 acre tract described as Lot 3, Block 2 of the Texas Central Edition, as recorded by plat number 2001-031566 in the official public records in McLennan County, Texas, and being located at 2031 Exchange Parkway, and further located within Waco's extraterritorial jurisdiction, which said territory lies adjacent to and adjoins the present boundary limits of the City of Waco, Texas, providing for the designation of industrial as the comprehensive plan land use designation, and the designation of M2 light industrial district zoning, assigning the annexed territory to City Council District 3, amending City of Waco Precinct 16 to include the annexed territory, directing that the city precinct district map be revised to reflect that change, and providing voting location at any of the City Waco vote centers, providing that said territory bears pro rata part of taxes, entitling inhabitants to all rights and privileges of citizens, and binding inhabitants to acts and laws of the city, adopting a service plan, providing a severability clause, providing for publishing of the ordinance, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed, open the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on March 21st, 2023.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval. Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Borderoad.
Yes.
Horner. Holmes. Meek.
Carries. And next we have ordinance 2023-255.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, designating Jockey Club, Barber, and Beauty Shop, a building situated on property described as Lot 12, Block 1, Beal Nelson Edition, known as 809 Elm Avenue, as a historic landmark, establishing design guidelines regulating alteration or demolition, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance is approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on March 21st, 2023.
Is there a motion?
Move for approval on second reading. Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Aye.
Borderoad.
Yes.
Horner. Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. Next we have ordinance 2023-256.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing the Code of Ordinances be amended by revising Section 28-247 and Chapter 28 zoning of said code. Further, the zoning map shall be changed that certain properties described as lots 12 through 14, Block LL West End Edition, known as 2501, 2505, and 2509 Fort Avenue, shall be changed from C3 district classification and become and be designated into O3 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a savings clause, providing a severability clause, and finally determining the meeting at which this ordinance is passed, open the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on March 21st, 2023.
Is there a motion?
Move approval. Second.
Motion and a second. Please, any discussion? Please poll the council.
Bearfield.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Borderood.
Yes.
Horner. Holmes.
Aye.
Meek.
Yes, that motion carries. Next is the hearing of visitors. During this section of the agenda, we provide an opportunity for the public to present concerns or address issues that are not matters for consideration listed on the agenda. Council is unable to conduct discussion, but will listen, ask staff to look into concerns and provide follow-up. Please provide registration information so that staff can contact you if necessary. If you have handouts, please let us know at the beginning of your presentation, and staff will distribute those to council. If you're unable to approach the podium due to physical limitations, a microphone is available to be brought to you. The first card I have tonight is Randy Ailman. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Randy Alleman. I live in North Waco in District 5. I retired from Waco PD just over 8 years ago with over 39 years of service. So the reason I'm coming tonight is I'm here to ask again that you guys seriously consider a cost of living adjustment or COLA for our city retirees. Everybody's been hit with inflation. Everybody knows about it. But that COLA is the only way our retirees, if that's the only check they have, they can get some relief or benefit from. So all of you should have a handout. It's got a lot of information in it. The most important, I guess, is the CPIU, which is the Consumer Price Index for urban areas. This is what TMRS uses to calculate, I guess, COLA benefits when they need updating. So basically, I just hope, I know you guys are probably in budget discussions already, so I just hope that perhaps this next year that the COLA for retirees can be put at the top of the list. And that's really all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Rahiv Adara. Did I pronounce your name right? Welcome.
As of 2020, 1 in 5 U.S. jobs is export-based, and 45% of our exports now go to developing nations. I'm Raj Vadera, and I'm here as ambassador for the Borgen Project. We are a national organization based in Tacoma that works to engage citizens to see stronger efforts by U.S. leadership towards improving living conditions abroad. Despite the fact that many of us believe that nearly 25% of our budget goes to foreign aid, we barely spend 1% of our budget on foreign aid to help those that need it the most, despite the significant benefits that this spending has brought us, even purely from an economic perspective. Like many towns in Texas, as global poverty rates were cut in half over the last 20 years, Waco has benefited in the form of increased economic activity and better living standards. For instance, during the same time period, U.S. exports nearly doubled from $1 trillion in 2000 to $2.5 trillion in 2021. From Germany to South Korea, many of our top trading partners were once recipients of U.S. foreign aid. For instance, as part of the Marshall Plan, in the 1950s, U.S. provided $13.3 billion of aid to the EU in the 1950s. Now, U.S. exports reach nearly $350 billion annually. In fact, Thomas Donahue, the ex-president of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, once said, "We have no choice but to stay engaged in the world. 95% of people we want to sell something to live elsewhere, and America's access to leadership in foreign markets is critical. We're the largest exporter by a significant factor, and we need to capitalize on that. The rising number of consumers worldwide has opened new markets for Waco companies. A clear example of this is the recent plan to establish Graphic Manufacturing's international multi-billion-dollar recycling plant in Waco, which could provide hundreds of jobs to the local community and spur economic development. I would like to ask the Waco City Council to send a letter to Senator Ted Cruz, Senator John Corrigan, and Representative Pete Sessions to let them know how the City Council views global development programs as crucial for creating more consumers globally and new markets for Waco's businesses. Furthermore, I would like to request everyone gathered here to write to their representatives about their opinions on the need for foreign aid and global poverty alleviation. Thank you so much for your time and attention.
Thank you for being here. Last, we have Ephraim Herring.
Good afternoon, good evening, people. Council, Waco Council. I got a question, actually, I got a concern, on Elm Avenue. Elm Avenue right now is being built right now, as I speak. But I've noticed there's problems when you start looking at Hood Street, Rose Street, Turner Street, and Dallas Street. The minimum width of a roadway is about 10 feet. So when you start coming from Dallas Street, making a right turn onto Elm Street, it switches down to 20 feet. Well, that don't seem like much, but you got car turning right, car turning left. Today, on my way over here, I was standing on Rose Street, actually Hood Street. Guy getting ready to turn. Well, he couldn't really turn because it's only about 18 feet. The width of the roadway, you're turning from Rose Street onto Elm Street. That's a safety hazard. Because normally, if you got a big truck turning there, they can't turn in there because it's not wide enough for them to make a right turn. And you can walk down there today and walk on Hood Street, and you can see where trucks have been running over that curve. Over time, what's going to happen is you're going to start tearing that curve up. The reason why I'm saying something about it today is because y'all talking about us paying for the road conditions and road repairs, $7, $8, $9, $10 for road repairs. Now, if the road's not designed properly at the beginning, prevent this, that means in the next 5 or 10 months, we're going to be repairing the road right now. We're going to be already repairing Rose Street already from where it's turned by the barbecue place because they kept running over the curb to the point where the barbed wire, not the barbed wire, but the steel was sticking out of the curb. What I'm saying is somebody needs to look at that roadway and see how we're going by the standards. The minimum width of the road is 10, but I think it's less than that. It's about 18 and what I'm saying. That. So 2 lanes should be about 20 or more. Thank you for your time. God bless you, and you'll be safe.
Thank you. That's all the cards I have. Is there anyone else here tonight who would like to speak during the hearing of visitors? If not, we will close the hearing of visitors. Are there any announcements that council would like to make?
Go ahead. Just wanted to kind of give a report on last week. Myself, Deputy City Manager Emerson, and our Legislative Affairs Manager, Ken Neely, were in D.C. for the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference. You know, it's the opportunity for us to go and advocate for cities, towns, and villages on with our legislative bodies. I serve on our National League of Cities board, so we had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Landrew and folks like that about opportunities that we have, making sure that cities, towns, and villages are utilizing their ARPA dollars to the best and highest uses that they can. I was clear in that we're good on ours. There's some communities that haven't really completed how they're going to spend their money, and there's mumblings about that money being taken away. And so the National League of Cities was kind of really dedicated with having workshops and sessions on ARPA fund usage and making sure that we get all that we can out of the federal dollars that the National League of Cities and communities like ours lobby for. So many things. I know we got engaged with the Infrastructure Hub and opportunities of what those resources that National League of Cities has for our communities. Was especially proud as the Race, Equity, and Leadership co-chair to introduce a new constituency group, the local indigenous leaders. We have been doing a lot of road to recovery, racial healing, and especially with our indigenous communities as the foreparents of this country, and to truly set aside a space for them. It was a tearful engagement in that they felt seen for the first time in a long time. We had opportunity to speak to, or I had opportunity to speak to leadership in the USDA, because I know we've been talking about our food deserts and the lack of food in some of our communities. And so we talked about the opportunity for USDA support on urban gardens and urban farming, as well as urban tree planting. So it's one of the things that I was excited to make a connection and talk about there. Deputy City Manager Emerson and I talked with some folks about the opportunity to expand broadband within our communities like we have done at the Dewey. And I forgot to ask Jonathan if that was on the plan for Miller as well, to expand broadband for our communities, but that's a whole nother thing. And then finally, I'm super proud of us, the city of Waco. I mentioned this before, but we are one of the 10 cities that was selected for the inaugural Race Equity and Leadership Institute, and which does a deeper dive in how cities engage with race equity and how we grow and advance with our full equity lens. And since the city of Waco has made that one of our strategic priorities, it was really good to be in that space. Our homework this time was a historical timeline of Waco, and I'm proud to say that we were far beyond a whole lot of cities, especially with our awareness and reverence to our indigenous foundings and beginnings. And a lot of the leadership and staff that were really proud of that, and even our paleo history that we have within Central Texas was something to be noted. But the cohort consists of Priscilla Ard, Deputy City Manager Deidre Emerson, and myself, and just really proud of our opportunity to represent Waco in that way. We had 2 in-person sessions. We'll have 2 virtual sessions, and we will graduate at the National League of Cities City Summit in November in Atlanta.
Awesome. Thank you for your service. Thank you for taking that time. It's valuable. I know being away from your family for so long comes at a cost.
Yes, it does.
But we greatly appreciate you bringing this incredibly important information back to this body and to our community.
Mayor, real briefly, my wife and I were relieved to participate and want to give a shout out to Solid Waste for Household Hazardous Waste Day, which we were glad to find out was no questions asked, since we had a truckload full of paint from turn of the century, and we had inherited it when we purchased our house, and it always been in my mind, and to find out that there were helpful, friendly and eco-conscious employees ready to unburden us of these toxic chemicals, or some of which might have been toxic, was a great relief. Also today, was really honored to be able to proclaim it Reverend Gilbert and Barbara Walker Day in the city of Waco, both of whom were the first African-American graduates of Baylor University. Reverend Gilbert was also the first Black Waco ISD Board of Trustees member, and their statues were unveiled today in front of the Tidwell Bible Building, where I spent 6 years of my life studying, getting some history degrees, and I learned Reverend Gilbert had a history degree there from Baylor as well. But it was a really powerful ceremony, and I was glad to represent the city there and proclaim it and acknowledge those 2 pioneers in our history. Thank you.
Yes. All right, are there any council member reports, committees, boards, commission liaison visits, or requests for future agenda items? If not, there be no further business. This meeting is adjourned at 6:37 p.m.